So good morning again everybody, thanks for joining me. I'm just out on another little walk in and around Cudworth. My normal daily exercise, which consists of, for me anyway, a little bit of photography. I'm in an area that I've never been to before. I've turned the opposite way to what I normally do when I get off our street, and I found this quite nice composition here outside of Riverbank, and it consists of these two trees, this river and that wind turbine. Now wind turbines to a lot of people are a blot on the landscape, but for me I think they're quite interesting images in the right composition, and this composition is, like I said, river in the foreground, these two trees and that fence in between them, and that wind turbine smack bang in between those two trees. Now I'm trying to frame that wind turbine and fire the shot off just as the blades on that turbine are not hidden behind the trees. And what's happening is this river's quite calm and it's casting up trees and fence, casting a lovely reflection in this river, but it's quite an unbalanced exposure. So what I'm having to use is my Nissi 4-stop soft edge graduated filter, and what that's doing, it's just reducing the glare of the sky and a little bit of polarization to take some glare off the water, so that the exposure is quite evenly balanced. And that's what a graduated filter does. It allows you to balance your exposure rather than your sky being blown out or your shadows too dark. So let me just tell you what my settings are. Now I've got that filter on. I'm at the 25th of a second at f8, and my ISO is 100. Okay, I always keep it on 100 if I can. It's as low as it'll possibly go on this camera, and that's making quite a nice balanced, evenly balanced exposure. Now I've focused on far banking. I'm going to try and fire that shot off so that them blades are in between those trees there. Yeah, and that's quite a nice photograph for me. Now some might disagree, but I think with these reflections and the sky, and there is quite a bit of definition in the sky as well, there's some quite dark clouds, it makes for a nice image. So I'll show you it now. Second image of the day then, the morning, afternoon, and it's similar to the one that I shot earlier, only they're into wind turbine in it. But there is this tree here on the right casting a lovely reflection into the river, and to the left those silver birch trees. Okay, now those trees, that tree, reflection, river running in between them, that's obviously the main subject, the main focal point of the image. Now the sun is fleeting in and out. Okay, without the sun, those silver birch, it's just a flat image. But the sun that's now behind me, when it comes out and it's just peeping through now, casts some lovely golden light onto these silver birch trees and lights them up. Okay, when they're lit up, I'm taking a couple of images. Some geese flying over there. Yeah, and I'm going to try different images, some zoomed in, some zoomed out, some in portrait, some in landscape orientation. But yeah, it makes for a nice image. And again, I've got me, I know you can't see it from there, but I've got my Nissi 4-stop soft edge graduated filter on again, just to take the sky down a notch or two, because it is quite an unbalanced exposure. Again, that sky's quite bright with the sun being here behind us, and this reflection's quite bright, but the foreground, the trees, and especially those trees that are running across that horizon there, they're quite dark, so it's quite a contrasty image, and that filter is just balancing everything. Okay, so as soon as I've got another couple of these, when this sun comes back out, I'm going to take another couple and I'll show you what they're like as soon as I've got them. Still no light. Now we have light. Just a bit on those trees. This is going to be the last shot of the day. For me, it's been a long day. Dogs are tired. If you can hear Isla snoring, I do apologise. She's behind camera here. She's had quite a long run, and she's fast asleep under a bush. Alright, so if you hear her snoring, I do apologise. But anyway, this is the last shot of the day for me, and I found quite a nice scene. It's this lake with reeds, reed beds all around it, and again we've got a turbine away there in the distance, making or creating quite a nice reflection in this water, in this lake. Reflection just keeps getting broken up by wind. Wind's picked up a little bit. Sky's quite clear now. There's not much happening in the sky at all, but I'll do what I can with it. Anyway, that turbine is framed in between a row of birch trees. The reflection is framed in between this gap here in these reeds. I've changed lenses. I've got my Canon 16-35 f4 lens on now. I've still got my Nissi 4-stop soft edge graduated polarizer on to try and darken that sky a little bit, and the water to bring it into line and balanced with the mid-ground. So it should make for quite a pleasing image this. Okay, but we'll see what it turns out like. I'll get this now and then show you that when I've got it. I'll turn the camera on. I've already got it all framed up. Yeah, so like I said, Nissi 4-stop soft-edge graduated filter. I'm on a 15th of a second at f11, ISO 100. I've focused about a third of the way into my frame on these reeds here, just in the bottom left hand corner. That should give me a good sharp focus, or acceptably sharp here in foreground, mid-ground. That wind turbine, I'm not too bothered over that being absolutely pin sharp because blades are spinning anyway, and at the 15th of a second they might be a little bit soft, but that's fine, I'm okay with that. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, that's a pretty decent image. I'm going to try one in landscape orientation, see what the difference is, but to be honest, this is probably going to be a square crop anyway. Polarise that water a little bit. I can't polarise it too much though, because if I do I'll lose reflection of that wind turbine. I just want to cut down on a little bit of glare on this, the water in the foreground here. I've got to try and time it pretty well because there's Park Springs Road here. ASOS that way, Grimethorpe that way, and it's obviously quite a busy road. There's a big yellow truck just gone past that. Come on, that in image. So I'm trying to wait and time it while there's nothing on that road, but also while all 3 wind turbines are reflecting in this water. Yeah, I like that. So like I said, that is the last shot of the day for me, unless I can find something on my way back to the truck. Last shot of the day. Stay there. Last shot of the day. I'm on my way back to the truck in a second. Thanks very much again for joining me. Most of it today has been by the waterside. Thanks very much for joining me, but I've stayed local, as I always do during lockdown. I don't go very far at all. I've been to areas of Cudworth, places in this surrounding area that I've never been to before. I need to put a little bit of an apology into this if I can, because I ended up in someone's field. I didn't intend to, but this morning when I set off with the intention of finding a couple of trees and a bit of a meandering river that I see every time when I drive along that bypass there from Grimethorpe to Darfield, or vice versa, and that's where I set out to find this morning. It's like it looks like a river with a couple of nice bends in it, some really tall trees growing at either side of it. Set off to walk and find that this morning, and ended up walking on paths that in the end I realised that actually weren't public footpaths, and the place that I actually found, I just followed the normal well-trodden footpath. It weren't fenced, it weren't gated or anything, but it took me into what is obviously a farmer's field. And the bit of river that I thought were a river isn't a river, it's just a U-bend with trees on either side of it, and it's actually, I only realised when I got there, it looks like a couple of lads shoot it or use it as a duck shoot. But like I said, I didn't realise that it weren't fenced, it weren't marked, it weren't signed or anything like that. But when I got there, I thought, I'm there now. So the photos that you see and the bit of video that you see of me walking around taking photographs free handheld, where I didn't want to set my tripod up. I didn't want to take the time to set my tripod up, but I thought while I was there, I'll grab a couple of shots and then get straight out as quick as I can. I didn't want to be kicked off by any farmer or any lads that were going to, you know, do a bit of work on the duck pond or anything like that. So if that's your duck pond and you're watching this, I do apologise, but I didn't realise. So anyway, I'm off. I'm going to get dogs in car, I'm going to let them have a bit of a swim, get them cleaned off a little bit. But as always, thank you all for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, please subscribe. If you'd like to share my videos, share my videos. If you'd like to comment on my videos, whether positive or negative, please comment. I know I'll reply to anything, I'll answer any questions. I'm trying to generate a few more subscribers and a bit bigger subscriber base, and I can only do that with the help of you lot. Okay, if you share with your friends, or you know anybody that's interested or might be interested in what I do, especially in this local area, in this local community of Cudder. If you know anybody that's interested in what I do, or landscape photography, if anybody wants to come for a walk, socially distanced, just a couple of us, I'm more than happy to help out, point people in the right direction. Maybe somebody can come and point me in the right direction, because I'm still a learner, I'm only learning. I enjoy what I'm doing, but I generally get out on my own, and when I'm out on my own I don't see anybody, I don't really speak to anybody, it's just me, normal daily exercise. But yep, that's it from me for today. Thanks very much for joining me. I'll see you all again soon. Bye.